ColORCHESTRA is back.
Our new season of auditions for classical musicians is now available. Performance opportunities for students, young professionals, and seasoned artists.
Perform a concerto with orchestras around the world. We have 4 orchestras this season. Perform with orchestras throughout the US, Czechia, and Egypt. New this season, opportunities for composers to have their orchestral works recorded by the Boulder Symphony Orchestra, mastered and distributed on the world's most known music streaming platforms.
Audition live from the comfort of your own home. Get live evaluations from expert judges and expand your online presence through our international internet broadcasts. Additional award and performance opportunities are also available. Visit our website for full details. Don't miss out on these wonderful opportunities to advance as a musician and perform on a world-renowned stage. We look forward to hearing your performances.
Hello and welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music channel. My name is Chris Au and I'm really pleased to be hosting today's show. Thank you for joining us today. Our channel is dedicated to bringing live performances and events from international artists delivered to audiences around the globe. Hello and welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music channel. My name is Chris Au and I'll be your host for today's show. We are in session 8 of our ColORCHESTRA auditions. Contestants for these auditions are auditioning to perform with the WNICO, the Western New York Chamber Orchestra, this season and next as well. We are so excited to have these performers with us. This morning, we had a wonderul Rachmaninoff Second Concerto, we had the Rodriguez Guitar Concerto, and we also had the Liszt First Piano Concerto. This session, we're going to have some amazing pieces as well, full concerti, some of them just one movement, but I cannot wait to hear what we have in store today. This is really exciting and musicians are auditioning to have an opportunity to perform with orchestras around the world. The goal of these auditions is to encourage, nurture, and reward musicians who are proactive about sharing their art and developing their careers. Together, we are providing opportunities for musicians to discover the unique artistic voice, to take initiative, present themselves on their own terms, and carve out their own careers. This is really a wonderful opportunity for the whole world to participate. We have people auditioning from the comfort of either their own homes or a music space that's close to them. We are broadcasting them live, so everything you hear isn't pre-recorded. It is actually live, and we have judges who are giving live feedback on these performances. And it's really crucial we have this because it really nurtures a relationship between the judges and the contestants, and it gives them closure after the performance to know how they played and how maybe they can improve. So we have 4 amazing orchestras, and let's take a look at what is happening in the next 4 days. We are really excited to see that in our schedule, the ColORCHESTRA schedule, there are amazing auditions the next 4 days that are happening, and all these auditions are happening starting on Friday. We have almost 14 different sessions, and we have another session next Sunday as well. So we hope that you'll join us because these auditions are for the WNICO Orchestra as well as the amazing Czech Republic Orchestra. They have opportunities to perform with the Cairo Opera Orchestra and also the Boulder Symphony. These are just fantastic opportunities because playing with an orchestra isn't just as simple as perhaps collaborating with the pianist who plays the orchestral part. You have to collaborate with a lot more musicians and a conductor. And so we are really pleased today to also have conductors as part of the judging panel to give their perspective on how this all works. It's really amazing that these auditions are judged by jury members who are part of the orchestra themselves, or they are the conductor, and these pieces of advice that they can give to the contestants are really quite crucial and quite helpful as well. The ColORCHESTRA auditions are organized by ArtistVenture, Sound Espressivo, progressive musicians, virtual concert halls, and in collaboration with Western New York Chamber Orchestra, Bohuslav Martinu Philharmonic, the Cairo Opera Orchestra, as well as the Boulder Symphony Orchestra, with the support of many amazing organizations from around the world. How special it is that a organization, virtual concert halls, and based in the US, is able to host all these different auditions for orchestras around the world, so that musicians can travel there and actually perform and get to know a different city. And these auditions being held are just a small part of what we have in our season. It's a very exciting part, and we want to give a big hand to our organizers and partners and supporters who make these happen, many of whom donate and really generous in their support of young musicians. There are album distribution, there are masterclasses in the US and in Europe as well, and we are providing many opportunities for musicians to be able to broadcast their music live across social media and around the world, please. So this is amazing. I'm really pleased about this. Participants from many countries are seeking guidance and support from the judges, and you'll see live comments which you will hear after each performance today. And with that, we are really pleased with this sort of live feedback between the audience and you can comment, actually. Those who are watching are actually able to comment. If you're watching from YouTube or LinkedIn or wherever it is, you can submit a comment to support our contestants, our musicians who are performing from around the world. This is a really wonderful way to interact with the musicians. And what's also wonderful is that, especially in our previous sessions, we've seen contestants being able to interact with judges. They get to hear live feedback, and the judges react to the performances right after the performance is done. And what that allows for musicians to do is really have and see what the judges are really thinking. Sometimes it is really just wonderful to have a bit of closure after a performance, and you'll see that contestants are able to perhaps thank the judges or ask questions, and the judges sometimes are actually asking questions of the contestants themselves, which makes this a really wonderful interaction and really special. And with that, I want to introduce our organizers and people who are really a crucial part of the show. We have Sound Espressivo Global Competition, which is an online live stream competition. It combines a competition with a live performance experience. Progressive Musicians is headed by the amazing James Welch and is an organizer of many competitions and concerts at prestigious venues like Carnegie Hall. What I really love about these first two organizations, Sound Espressivo Global Competition as well as Progressive Musicians, is we are combining something that was born out of the pandemic, which is an online experience, the best online live experience we can get to have musicians heard around the world. But we also want to award musicians with a live venue performance. It's really important to have that live, real experience with an audience, with an orchestra, and with a wonderful space that is prestigious. And so these organizations make it really possible for that to happen. We have virtual concert halls, which is an internet TV broadcaster providing artists with virtual stage and ability to reach audiences beyond the walls of conventional concert halls. This allows for musicians and people in the music industry and abroad to have a stage, a virtual stage, in which there are, as you can see on screen, different videos being played, different soundtracks, different, we've done documentaries, we've done commentaries, we've done interviews, live interviews, panel discussions, and virtual concert halls allows for this kind of thing to happen. We also want to give a big hand to ArtistVenture, which provides providing performance opportunities for musicians in Europe, Asia, and beyond, organizing tours in countries and prestigious concert halls, masterclasses, and seminars. And we want to show a little brief video, a trailer video, which will highlight what you might expect to see throughout our kind of season with this live interaction with the audience.
No matter where you are or who you are, music connects us all. We started with a dream, but now we are paving the future. Welcome to the Sound Espressivo Global Competition. fully virtual, yet bringing musicians closer together than ever before, now on a global scale. True live, inclusivity, diversity, connection, community, an extraordinary array of judges. Get noticed by companies all over the world. Prizes, scholarships, performance opportunities. Apply to be a part of the most exciting congregation of artists like nothing you've ever seen before. We guarantee quality and leave no musician behind. We can't wait to hear you on the virtual stage.
So with that, you can see what we're capable of, what we do, and we have amazing collaborations with conductors and orchestras all around the world. And this season, we have also season awards that are awarded to contestants throughout our entire season. So there are Carnegie Hall auditions, we have laureate ensemble auditions, we have these co-orchestra auditions, and much, much more. And throughout our season, we have here a little video to show you what the season awards are all about. We award amazing musicians this opportunity to have play in masterclasses across the world. There are different recording contracts, as you see on screen. This is an album recording and distribution contract for 3 amazing musicians that we have. This is really quite special that we have across the board. Virtual Concert Halls is sponsoring awards. We have iClassical Music Awards, and these opportunities are awarded to musicians across the board. And it's really, really helpful to have these, because it awards musicians for their participation and gives them an opportunity to experience different types of ways to interact with the industry. So through masterclasses, through recording contracts, through different tours across the world, this is a way for musicians to develop connections and to understand that it's not just about a performance or just about winning an audition, it's also about the other things that music is about. And we also want to give a big hand to the judges, because the judges who I'm about to introduce are people who are really important, not only in providing opportunities for musicians, and a lot of these are artistic directors, conductors, and people who are across the board really an active part of our industry. I want to first introduce to our stage today the wonderful flutist Nicole Zenz, coming to us from the Western New York Chamber Orchestra. She maintains an active performance live. Welcome to the show. Alongside her position as a public school music teacher, you are a member of the Buffalo Musicians Union Local 92 since you were 16. And Nicole is regularly requested to sub with the Buffalo Philharmonic and has played with the Western New York Chamber Orchestra, the Bach and Beyond Festival in Fredonia, New York, and numerous pit orchestras throughout the area. Welcome back. It's really wonderful to have you and to have you give wonderful feedback to our contestants.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here today and to hear everyone play.
Yes, and thank you for being here. Next, I want to introduce to our stage Andrew Krim, and he has been serving as the board president for the Western Slope Concert Series. You became the executive director in 2018, and in 2020, Andrew was named the executive director of the Boulder Symphony, an organization committed to connecting and profoundly affecting the human spirit. You're also the co-founder of the award-winning string quartet, the Ultras Quartet, and you've performed everywhere, won numerous awards around the world. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being a wonderful part of this ColORCHESTRA audition.
Of course, thanks for having me.
And we also have with us Devin Patrick Hughes, which you're a veteran to our show. I've always enjoyed your wonderful commentary. He's the artistic director and the conductor of the Boulder Symphony and the Arapaho Philharmonic. You have previously, Devin, held artistic leadership positions with the Northwest Florida Symphony, the Santa Fe Youth Symphony Orchestra. Devin was recently invited to the Antal Dorothy conducting competition and was featured in the Maestro Solti International conducting competition as a semifinalist in Budapest. You are such a wonderful musician, Devin. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being a part of this today.
Thanks, Chris. It's so great to be here. Looking forward to hearing everybody play.
Wonderful. And I think that's all our judges. So let's bring them all onto stage and to welcome everybody before we start the show. Yeah, this is everybody. Welcome. We have a really exciting array of shows. We have violinists, we have a bassoonist, and we have 2 pianists in this current session. How are we feeling about everything so far?
That's great. It's a nice blend of concertos, and I'm looking forward to seeing who the contestants are and conferring with the judges to look at how they came out at the end.
Yeah, this is going to be a really wonderful session. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, judges. We're going to introduce the first performer for this session, which is Rosha Ipakshi, who's a violinist performing the first movement of the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto in E minor, Opus 64. The stage is yours. I wish you a fantastic performance, and I look forward to hearing you. Congratulations! That was wonderful, Rosha. Wonderful playing. We'll first have Nicole from the judges.
Brava! What a beautiful, beautiful start to our competition today. What a joy to hear you play. You are a marvel. It is wonderful to hear you play today. I just amazing clarity, technique. I just really enjoyed this. This is probably one of my favorite violin concertos to play in the orchestra for, because this first movement is its own whole world, and I love it so much, and you captured it so well. I just think there's so, like I said, there's so much to this concerto, and there's so much to it. I'm captivated by your technique. I am captivated by just how flexible and how nimble you were. This is what I'm writing down while I'm listening to you play. I have just the slightest little suggestion for you, and that is, and this is probably just possibly not having played this with an orchestra yet. I don't know if you have or not, but I'm guessing not, since you're in a concerto competition. So there's just a slight thing, and this might be fixed by actually playing this with an orchestra. I just feel like sometimes a phrase needs to end before the next one starts. It's just a little pause thing. It's very, 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 very small idea, but I just want to plant that seed for you. I don't want that to take away from anything else of your fantastic, fantastic performance today. Brava.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Wonderful feedback. Next, we have Andrew.
Yeah, great job. It was really wonderful. You have a very bright future ahead of you. I just have two comments. One, when you're coming out of the cadenza and you start doing all the ricochet things, make sure you start. It's one of my favorite moments of all of the violin concertos, and make sure you just start soft enough so that your sound really like blossoms out of the orchestra. You got there. I mean, it's such a cool part. It's a chance for the soloist to get to show off, but make sure you hold the show off like 8 more bars, and then you can really flourish. The other comment I have is your left hand facility and technique is amazing. I was wondering with your right arm, maybe just check in with your shoulder and make sure you're nice and loosey-goosey. I mean, I know once you get a little nervous, then you start to squeeze a little, but make sure your shoulder is nice and soft so that you really have flexibility in your arm and how you change strings and put weight into the string. But overall, it was really great. Thanks for playing. You sounded wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Now we have Devin, please. Well, Steven, my apologies. You'll have to unmute yourself. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Farusha, for the wonderful performance. Can you remind us, how old are you?
I'm 12.
Wow, congratulations. You really brought that piece to life, and you had the drama there, and the sound was wonderful. Just a few comments I think that might help if you're going to play with an orchestra, kind of following up on along the lines of what Nicole was talking about. I think first and foremost, like, keep going no matter what happens. A lot of times if you get kind of tripped up, no one would ever know. And if you're playing with other players, pianist or orchestra, you know, they're going to expect to keep going. So they're not going to be ready to stop. So no matter what happens, into letter D, I think you can make a little bit of a clearer gesture. Kind of anytime there's a violin concerto and you're leading the orchestra, and the music changes its character, you want to have just a little more clear. And I think in this case, you could do a little more retard and maybe a little less pause right before letter D. Just another thing in general, you know, unless there's a really strong reason to not do so, try to keep your tempo very, very consistent. This in particular, I noticed at F, make sure 1 to 2 of F is the same tempo as the 6th bar. So even if you're playing the little notes, you know, make sure that determines, you know, fast notes, what you're playing less fast notes at as well. Yeah, I think at H, it could be just a little more connected, a little bit lighter to encourage that in the orchestra if you were to play with the orchestra. And then 274, I wouldn't speed up. I would prepare it into 279 so that tempo is really more consistent. So that's just a few more specific things that I think will really elevate your performance to a more professional level, which is really already incredible as somebody who's 12 years old. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Devin. Rosha, do you have anything to say to the judges or any comments to make before we move on to the next contestant?
No.
Okay, thank you so much. Judges, thank you for your feedback. This is just wonderful to be able to have this interaction and for them to hear you and your comments.
Thank you.
Right. And with that, we'll move on to our next contestant. Thank you so much, Rosha. We'll look forward to hearing you on the virtual stage again. Thank you for bringing the Mendelssohn Concerto to us, the first movement. You were fantastic. And our next contestant is going to be playing the bassoon for us. He's playing Austin Vitello is playing Vivaldi Concerto in E minor. He's playing the whole thing, I believe. There's 3 movements, first being Allegro Poco, the second being Andante, and the third movement, Allegro. Austin, the stage is yours. Please enjoy. Bravo, Austin. So wonderful to hear you. First, we have Andrew giving his comments and bring the judges on. Thank you.
Wonderful job. Yeah, I think your agility and ability to swiftly move through all these fast passages is really impressive. How old are you?
I'm 15.
15. Great. Awesome. Yeah, it sounds great. I just have one general comment of, and especially for the second and third movements, trying to feel the pulse in larger groups. For instance, in the second movement, in moments, it felt like you were counting it in 8 or feeling it in 8. And I think if you keep it in 4, it'll help create longer lines and longer phrases. And then in the last movement, I think if you could feel it in 1, it would help give that like more buoyancy and fluidness throughout the whole movement. But overall, I think it's great. It's really impressive. Bassoon is one of my favorite and also hardest instruments to play in the orchestra. So congratulations. It sounds wonderful.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Austin, and thank you, Andrew, for your comments. Next, we have Devin.
Great job, Austin. So what area are you in the United States? What area are you in?
I'm in New York.
New York. Okay, cool. And you're playing in like your high school orchestra, youth orchestra, all that?
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was going to say when Andrew asked you your age, that's pretty impressive for you to have that kind of technique as a bassoonist at that age. And I just encourage you just to keep it up and keep, going to orchestral performances in New York, seeing different orchestras, different conductors, reaching out to bassoonists in those orchestras, working on orchestral excerpts as well as solo stuff. I wanted to ask you, in terms of Vivaldi, what kind of music do you think was really prevalent at the time that this concerto is similar to? Do you think it's like string quartets, symphonies, operas, violin solo works?
It's mostly like smaller chamber ensembles.
Yeah, chamber ensembles, and I would also say opera was very prevalent at the time. So this kind of music was designed to evoke different moods and feelings and tell stories. So I would maybe, as the music changes, whether it's fast or slow or staccato or longer lines, I would have a picture like drama, like what are you trying to express to the audience? And that I think will take your music to the next level. So it's more compelling if you have a story in your head for every single note or phrase you're playing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Cool. Great work, though. Congratulations.
Fantastic. Next, we have Nicole.
Bravo, Austin. Just a joy to hear you play today. I just really, really enjoyed it very much. Outstanding technique and flexibility. I'm guessing you've been told that before and you clearly work on it. So it's so virtuosic and it's so nice. And I really cannot believe that you are 15. So that is outstanding. I also wrote down something you have as you're playing. It just seems like an obvious knowledge of having done this, like with a pianist or something. I know that you're not playing with one today, but I really appreciate that. Always do that. Always study that so that you can feel, what is going on in the rests and what the other lines are. And just a general suggestion. I'm a little bit curious though, because just about as a wind player, just about every double reed player I know has switched from something to bassoon or from something to oboe. What did you always play bassoon or did you switch from something else?
I've always played bassoon.
Do you play anything else? Like, do you play saxophone or anything in jazz ensemble or anything? I'm just curious.
No, I don't.
No, okay. Well, you've got amazing fingers that are just for the bassoon then, obviously, because it's just outstanding. You must have a great like practice routine. And I'm just saying this to encourage other young people out there to do that as well, because it's very impressive to be that virtuosic and to be that nimble on your instrument. So congratulations. Wonderful job.
Thank you.
Thank you, judges. Austin, do you have anything to add or to ask the judges? Any comments?
No, I do not.
Okay, wonderful, Austin. Thank you so much for being part of our show. Thanks for being part of these auditions. We look forward to hearing you more in the future. And judges, thank you for your wonderful feedback. And so nice to have this sort of interaction with our contestants. We're going to move on now to the next part of our show. Thank you, Austin. We will be giving our judges a tiny little break, and I would love to be talking to you about our Beethoven documentary series that Virtual Concert Halls helps to produce. What we do and what we have been doing for the past couple of months is going through a wonderful series called The Magnificent Nine, where we explore the Beethoven 9 symphonies. We have a documentary series created that was written and narrated by Lawrence Rabchak, who is a fantastic conductor based out of Chicago, I believe, and he is a wonderful musician who goes through all these different symphonies in detail, great detail, historical, musical, and personal detail as well. And what that does really is it helps one to build such a wonderful familiarity with these symphonies. He will draw inspiration from Mozart, from Beethoven, from Haydn, and look at how Beethoven was influenced or inspired. And so before we launch into our next contestant, who's also playing Beethoven, I'd love to play a little clip of the Fifth Symphony, which is also in the same key. And this will give you an idea of what Lawrence Rabchak has to offer and what wonderful editors within Virtual Concert Halls has to offer in terms of the graphics, the way we produce and show you the score, and how it all sounds together. So let's have a look at one of these clips.
It is terse, it is compact. Its dynamic energy is concentrated into a mere 9.5 minutes of music, the shortest opening movement of Beethoven's 9 symphonies. And it's all the more stunning because of the bold, unprecedented way in which it begins. Known to practically every living being on Earth. It's that powerful.
Yeah, and so you can see how Lawrence Rabchak and his wonderful voice, by the way, this smooth, silky voice of his, really dissects the symphonies. There's another clip I want to play, but before that, I want you to take notice of how the team at Virtual Concert Halls has put all this wonderful graphics and the videos and images to help sort of supplement what Larry is saying and what he's adding to the conversation about these symphonies. We've done the Fifth Symphony before, and we did the Sixth Symphony, and what I love about all this is he shows the context behind when it was premiered, how it was premiered, and what pieces were also in that program. So some of the first, the premiere of the Beethoven Fifth and the Sixth Symphony was paired with the Beethoven Fourth Symphony, and Beethoven also improvised. There's a whole concert dedicated to his music, and he did it all. And it's just so incredible to have this sort of background that fuels it. So let's have a look at another clip that shows a bit more of what Larry has to offer.
And certainly the Fifth contains the same sort of revolutionary musical outlook and language as the Eroica. And the Fifth Symphony's main key of C minor definitely evoked powerful creative impulses from the composer, as we saw in the second movement Funeral March of the Eroica. But I don't know that there's much point in doing any more detective work here. It's all been done by others. Beethoven's iconic opening motive, the group of 4 unison notes, is not something that he necessarily invented for this symphony. Beethoven used this same basic motive for the first movement of his great Fourth Piano Concerto, which also appears in the same sketchbooks with the Fifth Symphony, the same 4-note pattern. Sounding much different, yes? Mozart used the same motive 20 years earlier in the first movement of his equally great C major Piano Concerto number 25.
So as you can see, and I like what Larry actually says, which is detective work, which really is, because he goes into a lot of detail. We're exploring the Beethoven Fourth Symphony right now, and you can watch these, by the way, on Thursday and Sunday. We have an episode and chapter each Thursday and Sunday out. What he does is he goes back and looks at other composers who were composing around the same sort of, with the same sort of ideas. There's this wonderful composer an astronomer, Sir William Stryker or Stretchell. I forget exactly his his last name, and he was one who discovered the planet Uranus. And this astronomer also wrote symphonies, and he parallels that with Haydn's symphonies, and apparently they met at the time because they were both, Haydn included, was also very interested in astronomy, and all of this helped to fuel what we hear in terms of the Beethoven Fourth Symphony, the cosmos and this way in which sort of the universe is incorporated, and this kind of mystery within the Fourth Symphony, especially the opening, as Larry will talk about. So for more further details about this, and also commentary on these little chapters, please join us to watch the Thursday and Sunday episodes, and you'll hear how Dr. Anna and I talk about what Larry has to say, which is sometimes just really inspiring to see how composers were often very much influenced by different genres and different industries, different ways in which they drew inspiration, and I think this is wonderful. He also derives a lot of inspiration from the letters of Beethoven as well as the sketches, and all that really helps to build the fertile soil for us to really understand Beethoven's world, and as the series is sometimes called, the Beethoven's universe. And I think it's really fascinating. With that, we're going to go into our next contestant. I want to bring onto stage Adelia Wen, who is a pianist, wonderful pianist, and playing for us the first movement, Allegro con brio, of Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 3 in C minor, Opus 37. Adelia, I hope you're ready and looking forward to it. I'm certainly looking forward to your wonderful performance. The stage is yours. Please enjoy. well. Dalia, that was fantastic. And kudos also to your wonderful accompanist and collaborative pianist for playing the orchestra part. A big hand to you as well. Thank you so much. Yeah, there we go. As a pianist, we want to make sure everybody gets credit for what they do. So thank you for this wonderful performance. I love this concerto so much, and you play it so beautifully and so powerfully. Let's have Devin first. Devin, would you like to give some comments to Adelia?
Yeah, thank you, Adelia. That was wonderful. I'm with Chris. This is one of my favorites, and I mean, any Beethoven, it's pretty epic, and it's hard to get much better than that. I thought the overall structure was wonderful. The changes in character, the clarity of tempo for the orchestra to follow, that was all very clear. One just overall thing that you might consider is Beethoven. I don't think he gave a metronome marking for this concerto, but overall, like, we have to look at the indications at the beginning, and he does say allegro con brio. He didn't just say allegro con brio. So that indicates a little more liveliness. Obviously, you have the C minor, portion that you want to bring out that dramatic kind of dark side of what Beethoven was trying to create. But I would consider the cut time that he puts it in is not common time, so cut time would be more of a lighter two beat, as opposed to feeling the 4 in each bar, 1, 2. We really, so maybe it's a little faster. I don't think it's even faster. It's more just about your interpretation, your overall feeling of the whole arc of the piece, and how can that be more of a cut time as opposed to a common time, with maybe allegro con brio, as opposed to, because I've done this concerto a couple times, and it can get a little bit heavy with the orchestra if it feels too much in 4. And that's, I don't think, because Beethoven's coming out of idolizing Mozart. So this is really Mozartian, but this is where, the Third Symphony, Fifth Symphony, where he's making his transitions out of classical music into romantic music. So one more thing I had. Yeah, and just a little bit, I would connect more with whoever it is, whether it be your accompanist or the conductor or the orchestra coming out of the cadenza. So this is not, there are challenging places to catch for the conductor and the orchestra, like the Fifth Concerto, it's a little more, but even though here, you want to at least have a look or just acknowledgement that the orchestra is coming in here out of the cadenza. Thank you. Very, very well done overall.
Thank you, Devin. Next, we have Nicole.
Brava, Adelia. Just a pleasure to listen to you play today. And I have to comment, you have the most captivating camera angle, because it was really fun to watch your, I don't know if the other judges saw this too, I'm sure they were, to just see your reflection. And it was like a study. It was lovely. It was lovely to watch that. So maybe that was accidental, maybe it was intentional, but it was really a pleasure. I did write a couple of things down. You obviously love these phrases. I can hear the maturity in the phrases, and there's some very beautiful areas. But actually, it's funny that that it was already mentioned by Devin, but I actually wrote the words "arc of the piece" in my comments as well. So I'm thinking there are times I just got a little tiny bit lost, like maybe in the architecture, and I don't have a score in front of me. So that makes perfect sense. It could be a 4 versus a cut time, just like moving forward feel. But again, there's also moments of just devastating beauty that you've clearly really understand the phrases and you're really, really playing them well. So I don't, it's not, I don't want to sound very negative, because I very much enjoyed your performance, but it's a comment to grow on, possibly to be looking toward that study. And I'm guessing that since you're auditioning for a concerto competition, that you probably haven't played this with an orchestra, and so that will probably inform so that'll probably inform your performance a lot more as you grow as a player. Just the give and take that you have to do, and that experience as well. So what else did I write down? Oh yeah, and I say especially the soli sections, just a little bit with dynamics, making sure that we're building when we have a repeated note, that we're really reaching for the next thing. But really, really wonderful performance. Can't say enough about how wonderful it was to listen to you and hear you today. Thank you.
Great insight. Thank you so much, Nicole. And last but not least, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to echo what everybody else has said. It was outstanding. It was wonderful. Also, thanks to your collaborator. Without amazing collaborators, we would be really pretty boring. But yeah, it was great. I loved how you rode the line of classical transitioning to romantic period, mid Beethoven style. I thought it was great. I loved your, especially the first piano that you have. That shift in character was really great. My only constructive comment is echoing what Devin said about really trying to feel it in two, so it doesn't get bogged down and it has a really nice flow. But I mean, overall, it was really great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Fantastic comments. Thank you, everybody, for their insight. I also want to say that in terms of the microphone, and what you were able to, how you got the sound through, I thought the piano sounded fantastic. It's really wonderful. Sometimes we get people who play and the sound is not as wonderful, and then the microphones have a big part in that, whether it's us speaking or whether it is with the pianos. Yeah, it's really wonderful that you've invested in microphones or in the setup that really makes you sound the best that you can. Do you have any comments or any suggestions or any, not suggestions, I guess, but any feedback for the judges that you want to say?
I mean, I just wanted to say, like, really thank you to the tech guys for helping me with this. It was a really long process, like, getting it coordinated, but I'm so glad that it worked out so then I could use this microphone, which, yeah, you said, like, I invested in. And also just thank you for the opportunity to perform for you guys.
Yeah, that was a really fantastic performance, and I think the microphones were a wonderful investment. I know they're not cheap, so
Yeah,
bravo
sure.
on that, and hooking it up and everything. It's really worthwhile investing, I think. It's just in terms of if you want to stream later on in the future or when you want to record yourself, it's always really good to know this and have good tech with you. So fantastic, Adelia. I wish you all the best. I look forward to hearing you more in the future. Thank you, judges, once again. And with that, we have our final contestant. His name is Harry Chen. He's a wonderful pianist playing the Mendelssohn Piano Concerto No. 1 in G minor, Opus 25. He's performing the third and last movement, I believe. It's Presto, Molto, Allegro, e Vivace. Harry, it's wonderful to welcome you into the stage. It's all yours now, so enjoy. Fantastic, Harry. Wonderful job. Congratulations on a really fine performance. Harry, this was really wonderful to hear you. First, we have, now for our judges, we will have Nicole first.
Is Harry there?
Yes, I think so.
Is he there? Oh, I just can't see him. Okay.
Okay.
Bravo, Harry. It was just wonderful to hear you play. Oh, now I can see you. Wonderful. It was wonderful to hear you play today. Thank you so much for performing for us. I have to say, there was a smile on my face the entire time. What a wonderful piece and how wonderfully played. I have to say, I have to ask you, how old are you?
I'm 11.
You're 11. Fantastic. I actually, knowing that you were a younger person, looking at you when you started playing, thinking, I did close my eyes for a little bit to think, would I be this impressed if this person was an older person? And you know what? I would have been equally impressed. So it was really, really a fantastic performance. Really put a smile on my face. You're such a wonderful, bright future. On a technical standpoint, just the clarity with which you play and the clarity with which I can hear in your playing is fantastic. Well articulated. It's just that's something I specifically noticed. I'm just curious what you do when you're not practicing the piano.
I also play violin.
Do you? Okay, wonderful. So that informs your performance as well. What are you thinking about when you're playing this really exciting piece?
Well, it's just like a very happy piece. Like I'm just trying to like feel the music.
Yeah, I can tell that you are feeling the music, Harry. It's really fantastic. You know that these sometimes little things happen when we're playing, like, and this is why we love live music, though, because that emotion and everything just carries through. And yeah, you were really focused, and it was really a joy to listen to you. So thank you so much for playing today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. That was wonderful. Drew?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I'm extremely impressed. I want to thank your collaborator also for playing with you. I really loved your. I don't know. At times it sounded like cartoon music, and it was like really light and playful, and I really enjoyed it. You obviously understand the characters you're going for and the music you're trying to convey. My only constructive criticism would be just make sure when you're getting to the loud stuff and you have all of these octaves and things that you're keeping your shoulders relaxed, your elbows relaxed, so that everything's really even and clear, that you don't get too excited and lock your elbows. Things could get a little lopsided, but everything, it sounded fantastic. Congratulations. You have an extremely bright future.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Andrew. Last but not least, Devin.
Thanks, Gary. I agree with both Andrew and Nicole. I was really amazed just watching you put out those notes, such virtuosity. There's one comment I have about tempo. I would just, whatever tempo you start at, which is the presto, I would go faster and change the energy when you get to the molto allegro and the vivace. Just so it's a different tempo. So maybe if you're going to go that tempo in the molto allegro, I would start a little slower on the presto. Ideally, you're at that presto tempo and you really take off at the molto vivace. But that's really the only thing I had. Great work.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Devin. Thank you so much. Harry, do you have any feedback from these from the judges? Do you have any response? Anything you want to say? Do you have any disagreements?
Thank you so much for all of this.
Wonderful. Thank you, Harry. It's wonderful to hear you. I really love this concerto. Hopefully we'll get to hear you play the whole thing. That'll be really great. And with that, I want to bring our judges back on for a quick little discussion. It's wonderful to hear. I would love to ask, maybe we'll start with Nicole. As an orchestral member, when you're listening to non-flutist or non-woodwind instruments play a solo, are you thinking about how they would fit in as a soloist? Are you thinking about, what are you thinking about as a judge?
Well, very much so. And I guess I've been lucky to get to play orchestral accompaniments for a lot of concertos. And it's so exciting that this is a session that's specifically for Winnico, because one of these people could end up, playing with us. I could actually be collaborating with them. So yeah, absolutely. And especially, I think in this particular session, I was impressed with how, obviously the pianists were collaborating with another pianist with the orchestral part. But I think that's just such an important thing for them as young people, or as anyone, to do when you're studying a piece, to obviously listen a lot and to be able to do that. But yeah, definitely listening for phrasing, listening for how that could fit in the colors, and also kind of wishing I was hearing the orchestra there, because of course these works were conceived for orchestra. It would be like watching something in black and white compared to it being in color. Seriously, it's sort of like, the Wizard of Oz, as we reveal color as we come through. But I think that's definitely. I can't help but listen that way. I also can't help but listen, but think back to different performances I've heard, like earlier today with our first soloist with the Mendelssohn. I mean, I completely love that piece. I get excited every time I get to play it, and just as an orchestral member, and it's just so exciting. And the Beethovens, of course, I love every Beethoven, everything. And I haven't played a ton of the accompaniments for the concerti, but and anyway, it's just, I definitely listen for that. And then it's just exciting to listen to interpretation, and also to listen and to listen to just how, I don't know how to put this, just sort of how it could be just brought to life, I guess is what I'm thinking about, as you're listening to someone, to how could this be brought to life? How could this person's interpretation bring this to an audience and just captivate them? Like how could that happen? What are the things that need to be in place for that?
There's always something special as a soloist that you'd hope is different from, I guess, just sort of, it's different from solo playing, but also as a soloist with an orchestra, there's time to be rhythmically solid and to be with the orchestra, but also there's room to have your own personal touch. I'd like to bring this question to Andrew, as you executive director of all these organizations, as well as being a string player yourself. What are you listening for, and how are you thinking of judging contestants and musicians?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing is musical creativity and having your own spin on it. I mean, so many of these pieces we've heard so many times, and it's all been recorded so many times. So having your own unique twist or inspiration to the piece is crucial. I mean, also, like Nicole was saying, just rhythmic integrity, making sure. I mean, as an executive director, we only have the orchestra and so many rehearsals, so your ability to sit down and play rhythmically and be with the orchestra while still leading the orchestra in your interpretation is crucial.
Yeah, this sort of flexibility yet also rigidity that works alongside an orchestra. And I'll bring this question out to Devin. What are you listening for? What are your thoughts as a conductor?
Yeah, just to kind of summarize what Nicole and Andrew said, it is really, we have two audiences, the orchestra and the patrons, or the audiences who are going to be in the concert. So obviously it was easy because you all picked Vivaldi, Mendelssohn, Beethoven, etc. So we know the music is going to be of the greatest quality. So that's number one, and your performance, your ability to make it your own, to maybe do something that we hadn't experienced before. Obviously, you don't want to go change a tempo in the middle of a phrase, that is completely inorganic. But so that, really saying something new, and having that overarching rhythmic connection that makes it a one whole work of art, which makes it clear to the orchestra and the conductor to be able to follow. And then I would say maybe the third thing is, and maybe people are starting to do this more, but really have a full orchestral score. Learn every instrument that's playing, especially for the main solos. If you sometimes the piano is accompanying the flute, for instance. and the flute becomes the soloist. In the Brahms violin concerto, the original soloist was upset because the principal oboist got the best melody in the whole concerto while he had to stand there and just wait. So it's a concerto is not just for one instrument. It's many instruments, and the later you get in time with composers, developing concertos more, it becomes a concerto for orchestra in many places and many composers. So I think that would be the third thing, is to really learn the score, study the score like you would be performing it with an orchestra, maybe even like you would be conducting it. So I think, and it's clear. I think that we can see, how much of the score as opposed to just how much of the notes you're playing of your own part.
Yeah, I think this awareness that you're potentially playing chamber music a lot of the time. I mean, as a pianist, the Schumann piano concerto feels a lot more like chamber music. It's more thinly written than maybe some of the Rachmaninoff concerti. And so again, there's all this chamber music to be had, and I love this idea. My last question for you, actually, Devin, you mentioned Allegro con brio. I want to know, very curious for myself, what are your thoughts on Allegro con brio? What are other works by Beethoven's also like that? And what does that, is it a tempo thing, or is it sort of a feeling and tempo? What are your thoughts on this Allegro con brio?
I think that Allegro is a pretty basic indication, but there can also be Allegretto, Allegro vivace, Allegro con brio. So I think anytime you're adding something, I mean, Allegretto usually takes it back a little bit. Like it's more of a closer to andante, a walking pace. So I think anytime, Allegro is kind of a standard, not so fast. But anytime a composer is adding on to Allegro in a third movement or a last movement or something, I feel like that's going to move it along a little. Then you get to presto, then you get to molto presto or molto allegro. Mozart uses molto allegro a lot, and so I think it's just a degree of speed. And unfortunately, like andante really means walking, so it doesn't tell us much in terms of the metronome markings. Luckily, Beethoven put metronome markings, and after that, composers started to kind of do that. But yeah, I think it's a personal choice and flavor, and it's a study of the score, and it's a listening to hundreds of recordings of all these concertos that are out there, just to see what is possible.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Judges, it's been such a pleasure to hear your insights, and for every individual musician, thank you so much. This is just really wonderful, and each session is a little bit different because we're different judges, and so to hear your feedback is very inspiring for me. Thank you so much for your time and for your effort. And with that, we're going to pivot to a little bit of a promotional pause for ourselves to give the judges a little bit of a break. We're going to end the show soon, but before we end the show, I want to tell you all about what's happening. We have Carnegie Hall auditions that are coming up. So if you ever dreamed of playing in Carnegie Hall, this is your time. We have applications that are due very soon, within about a month, and this offers you an opportunity to audition live on a virtual stage, but also, more importantly, it gives you a chance to play in VAR Recital Hall, to be a part of the New York cultural musical scene. And then I think it's a wonderful opportunity that Virtual Concert Hall, San Espressivo, as well as progressive musicians are offering. And a lot of the time, you can audition as a duo, as a trio, as a quartet, as a big ensemble, as a small ensemble, as a soloist, as a vocalist with collaborative piano. This offers you such a wonderful time to actually get this sense of what the hall sounds like and what it's like to play in a big hall and a wonderful space that's not only prestigious but also a fantastic acoustic space. So make sure you send your applications for that, and I would love to hear more people audition for this because it's just such a special thing. Composers can also submit their scores to be performed by ensembles, soloists, vocalists, etc. Same sort of deal, and we'd love to get more compositions in. Modern composers are really important in our industry because this is sort of what we need to hear more of. This reflects the time that we live in, the kind of music and the ears that are listening to the music that's happening. So living composers are really wonderful and welcome. And I want to also talk a little bit about our season awards that are included right there on stage, including the Adler Oaks Music Library, where there are season awards that are awarded to contestants who apply throughout the season. And these will include everyone that you hear today, yesterday, and also tomorrow, and the rest of our season. These performers are eligible for a lot of wonderful awards from organizations all over the world, from Classical Academy to the Cicerone Music record distribution and album recording companies. I can't think of a more wonderful way to be involved in your career than to have these sort of awards given to you as part of it, because it offers so much more than just performances. It offers you a way to connect with teachers, musicians, conductors, and other musicians all around the world, some of whom are actually in the music management or agents, and this is just a really wonderful way to be involved. We are looking for collaborators and people to continue to work with us, and these people have. So if you are watching and you have something wonderful to offer young musicians and you would love to be a part of us, please don't hesitate to contact us. And I want to do a quick short Beethoven ad about our documentary series, which is shown every Thursday and Sunday. We're going through different chapters of Beethoven 5, Beethoven 6, and as well Beethoven 4. This is narrated and written by the incredible conductor and orator Lawrence Rapchak. He is so amazing to listen to and very entertaining as well, showing you the historical, personal, and musical context behind some of these great works of art. And then you, of course, have our Dr. Anna and my commentary on what was shared by Larry. And I think this just makes it a really wonderful thing. So every Thursday and Sunday, this happens, and I hope you will join us for it. And with that, this is the end of our session. I'm really pleased with everybody's performance. It's so wonderful to hear. Make sure you check us out on all these different social media platforms. We stream on Vimeo, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitch, on Alignable. We are everywhere. We try to be everywhere because people may be joining us and watching from all over the world and all over different social media platforms. I want to give a big hand to our partners as well, people who have contributed opportunities and collaborations with us to give people and young musicians and music lovers an opportunity to spread their art, share their art all over the world. And of course, a big hand to our team. We mentioned very briefly that there is an incredible tech team who produces these shows, is behind all these transitions and videos and things you see, but also people who write scripts, people who do social media management, people who put these videos together, and of course, most importantly, make sure that contestants are tech checked, that their technology that they have is best suited for the environment, for the instrument, and that they can sound the best that they can for the judges and for our audience. So a big hand to that. And with that, I want to say goodbye to everybody. This has been a wonderful session, and we'll see you very soon in a couple of hours. We have sessions on all day today and pretty much all day tomorrow as well. So much more music to come. And with that, I'll see you all soon. Thank you, everybody.